Hello and welcome to Scrap of Creativity. I have another card for you today. This card is made using a couple things that are new in the new idea book and catalog. One of them is the stamp set Wordplay. Let me zoom out so you can get a good look at it. This comes in, if you get the clear, it comes in two different cases, and it has a bunch of different things on it. And then the other thing we're using is scraps of paper from the Designer Series pattern paper pack, and this is some gorgeous paper. This is the Brights collection because I have the old olive in there. And this is also, this card is a great way to use up some extra scraps that you have laying around. So let's get started. What I did first is I cut 1-inch strip of pattern paper. Again, I used the old olive, and I just cut various strips of paper that were anywhere between 3 and 4 inches long. So they're an inch thick and then 3 or 4 inches long. And then what I'm going to do is just stick these right onto my crumb cake cardstock. And this used to be Craft. It's called Crumb Cake now. They renamed it. And again, I just kind of arrange them so that they're, you know, every which way, which is fine. And they go in just a little bit from the edge. And I laid them right next to each other. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that. So they're just, I mean, they're directly next to each other. There's no space in between them or anything like that. Now, just to let you know, these are just two different pieces of paper because it's double-sided. So I'm using two different pieces. I really, really like the fact that they came out with that patterned pack. There's 40 sheets of paper in there, I believe. And sorry, that's my cell phone that keeps going off. There we go. So there's the front of my card so far. The next thing I'm going to do is find my piece of paper. This is what happens when I scrap, folks. Oh, here it is. This strip is Early Espresso. And it is 3/8 by 5.5. So we're just going to fit it right over the top. I just want to kind of line it up, make sure it's going to fit well. And then I'm going to stick my brads on either end before I lay it down. And I do that so that it doesn't go through to the back of the card. I don't like it when it shows through. So we're just going to poke a hole on either side with our paper piercer. And I just eyeball it. I just put it a little ways in because I kind of want those brads right on the end. And these are the brads that match the library clips because we're using those too. They're the vintage brads, and they come with 4 different colors in them. There's the antique brass, there's black, there's silver, and then the pewter, which is what we're, the color that we're using. I started out with the antique brass on my original card, and it just kind of melted into the Early Espresso, so I didn't like that. I wanted it to stand out just a little bit more than that. Okay, we're gonna lay that down. Just a little bit from the edge. And I really shove down on those brads to make sure that they're gonna lay flat for me. Okay, so the next part we're gonna do is our stamping, which we have our stamp set up. This is on the D block. If you're gonna get this set, I suggest you at least have a D block. You'll probably need the next one up too, which I believe is E. And what we're gonna do is we are doing stamping with markers. And if you signed up for my newsletter, or if you get my newsletter, then this is the technique that's featured in that. If you haven't signed up for my newsletter and you'd like to, please just visit my blog at scrapofcreativity.com, and you can sign up for my blog just on the right hand side up at the top of the page. So I really want the ick to stand out in this, so I colored that in Old Olive, and then I'm going to color the rest of the stamp in Early Espresso. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it onto a piece of scrap vanilla. And there's my stamped image. I'm going to punch it out with the scallop oval punch. And then just to give it kind of a little bit of an edge on there, I'm going to use a dauber, which are these little thingies here. And they come in packs of 12, I believe, which is really nice. And I'm going to use the Early Espresso ink, and I'm just going to ink the edge. I mean, barely tapping on this. And I'm just going to barely brush the edge of my paper. If you were doing a lighter color, obviously you could be a little bit more heavy-handed with it. But since this is such a dark color on a light piece of paper, I don't want it to overpower the stamp. I just want to get a little bit of an edge on there to get a little more of that Early Espresso color in, and to give it some more texture and just another dimension to it. And again, just really lightly. So I have something that looks like that. I'm going to back that on a wide oval punch of the crumb cake. And you'll notice I have the older punches, but Stampin' Up! Did come out with a nice new punch body. So any of the punches that you order now will have that kind of a sleeker, flatter look. They're much easier to store. Okay, so there's that, and we're gonna use some dimensionals. There we go. Stick a couple of these on there, and then we're gonna put a little mini library clip, and we'll be good to go. Right on there. And then I want my clip to match. Again, these are the mini library clips, and they come in the set of 4, which are the same colors as the vintage breads. So it's nice to match them, which Stampin' Up! Is all about, which I love. And there's our completed card. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for stopping by. And again, you can go check out my blog and sign up for my newsletter if you have not already. It's www.scrapofcreativity.com. Thanks!